recently finished our high performance certificate where we had 20 coaches over a month where I presented on how to set up your resume to stand out from the competition, which was week 1. Week 2, how to maximize your network to get an understanding of what jobs are out there. Week 3 was around presenting. Typically, there's a 2-stage process for the full-time jobs. And that's what this whole month certificate was around, was landing your first full-time job in professional sport. And my tips on the experience that I've had over the 3 different sort of roles and the different processes you can go through. So if you're interested in that, there's going to be 10 spots available. We'll next open it up in October. It's $1,200, but I've broken it down into 4 payments of $299 over a quarterly. So if you want to chip away at that and give yourself the best chance in 2026 to land your first full-time job, or perhaps to give yourself a promotion if you're part-time, to get a promotion within your organization, then I highly recommend you taking this opportunity. You're not going to only learn from myself, but you'll learn from other coaches as well. I've broken down today's podcast into 4 key areas. So firstly, we've got speed development, we've got acceleration, we've got agility, and then we've got game speed. So of that speed development, we've got 3 key areas. Your ability to start, to go from a slow speed to explode and go to a really fast, rapid pace, obviously really important in field sports. Agility, your ability, your lateral speed, both from a offensive point of view, so the forwards and typically the midfielders, and then also from a defensive point of view, your ability to close space and corral, and then game speed, putting it all together, the cognitive point of view, typically anticipation beats acceleration, beats speed, and that's where a lot of the Franz Bosch stuff can be really helpful. It's particularly in off-season, pre-season, while you're building the foundations to develop that sound efficiency to help you capitalize on your force capabilities, whether it be your speed, your acceleration, or your ability to cut and step off a dime. As high performance coaches, we love to do a needs analysis. We need to break down where you are, and you want to do a bit of an audit on your group. You get an idea of what they did over the off season, but also if you're new to that department, get an idea, get some data, and work out what do we really need to help these players play for the game model. So that's where it can help to do some testing. Do your athletes, is there a max force deficit, i.e. Your strength, how much force you can produce, which is typically our slower qualities, and then your velocity, so how fast you can generate that force. As we know in team sports, AFL, rugby, soccer, it's not who can generate the most force like powerlifting, it's who can generate a high amount of force rapidly, quick, and faster than your opponents. So a good example of that is like a counter movement jump. If you can jump 60 centimeters, but it takes you a whole second of that contraction time compared to someone who can jump 50 centimeters, but half the time in 0.5 milliseconds, you're going to obviously get to that aerial ball a lot quicker on the field. And I like to break down into 4 key areas. You can jump incredibly high, but it's not quick. So therefore, from a plyometric point of view, your ground reaction forces, you need to work on contact times. So you need to be a bit faster. Let's say you do a drop jump and it's around 0.3 milliseconds. We want to get you to a minimum of 0.25 to be truly plyometric. So working on that contact time while still maximizing your height and your length of your jumps and your power, and also your explosive strength. Typically, these guys that can jump high, they can generate a lot of force. They use a lot of range of motion. We want to build in some explosive strength in their programs. So that's where we might do short ranges of motion, add in some accommodating resistance, some bands and chains to really encourage that athlete to accelerate through the lifts and make sure that their intent with our acceleration and our speed on field is really high. Then we've got our quick and high. So the sort of the gold standard, if you want to say, the ideal, the real supreme athletes. For these guys, minimum effective dose, typically from a capacity point of view, they've got the qualities that we need for the game, and they've got some real strengths. So typically, we want to still obviously maximize those strengths and top them up. But as we know, with diminishing returns, by putting in a lot of volume, we're not going to get a lot of reward out of that, and perhaps we're just going to add more fatigue to that system. So for our Ferraris, for our cheaters, if you like, these fast twitch athletes, typically intensity is their friend, but volume can crush them. So we want to respect the volume, be really agile with how they're feeling on a daily basis, and go for that quality over quantity approach because they've typically got the work capacity under them. Then we've got our quick but not high. So for these guys, they do have strong rate of force development. The strength they do have, they can generate it quickly, but they're just, for example, if it was a counter movement jump, they're at below average. They're quick. They might be RSI modified 0.7, but they're only getting to 30 centimeters. They could be quite effective on the field because they're rapid, and they can, if they've got good anticipation, then they can anticipate well because they're going to have good acceleration qualities. And typically these guys would be rely on frequency from a technique point of view. So we want to work on stride length. We want to maximize every step. They can generate more force into the ground, and both from a speed point of view, but also for jumping point of view. So for them, typically getting them stronger. These guys are typically quite weak, or guys or girls. So increasing their max force capability will improve their ability to generate more force, i.e. when their stride length on the field. So that's your 4 different groups. You got your high, not quick. You got your quick, not high. You got your mix that are both great in both. Your pure athletes, and then you got your neither. So bucket them into those 4 key groups. Hopefully that helps you just get a bit of an idea of if you're managing your squat at any level, you can start to see, and you might have access to force decks. Pretty easy these days, force plates, to be able to do this testing. Just do a simple jump profile, counter movement jump, squat jump, and drop jump.